We're potting Rifftrax. Uh, so today's episode, which Rifftrax are we potting?
Something fantastic, something cool, great, big and tall, phenomenal, spectacular. Incredible.
The big friendly giant, really.
Yeah, the big fucking guy.
Mm-hmm. The amazing bulk is what we're doing. That's the one that we're doing. So, you know, I'm gonna look at the Internet Movie Database and Wikipedia, and I know, folks, that those are not the best places to go for information, but this isn't the ritziest podcast.
And then with this one, we had some familiarity with the amazing bulk, having done
we actually mangled this before the Rifftrax guys riffed it.
So we knew exactly what kind of movie this was going to be going in.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Just go to the trivia section. And the director of this film found many of the backgrounds on free stock footage websites that are listed in the credits of the films. He shot film around what he had, which led to scenes in wine cellars and fields inhabited by leprechauns. For close-ups of Bulk's hands, Hulk hand toys painted purple were used for shots.
Oh, I love those Hulk hands.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the best.
Shot in 2008, but sat unreleased until 2012. Excluding the stock footage, every single scene in the film was shot on a green screen. No real film locations were used at any point. The film was shot in 5 to 6 days. The film spent over a year in the editing room. The film was originally going to be a parody of Spider-Man, starring a female protagonist. Aliens vs. Avatars is technically director Louis Schonbrand's last film. This film had been shot earlier, but sat unreleased until after that film came out, making this his last officially released film. He retired to become a film school teacher in the Philippines.
That's a horrifying thought.
Jed Rowan, who plays Detective Ray Garton, also briefly betrayed the Bulk when he is seen attacking a helicopter with reporters inside. Yeah, I thought that's who that was.
Mm-hmm.
Very Tor Johnson-y.
Yeah, there's exactly one shot where the Bulk is real, aside from those Hulk hands.
Mm-hmm. The film was financed entirely by Louis Schonbrand so that he could have complete creative control. Dr. Cantlow's ray gun that he used to vaporize a guard was created by painting the water gun completely silver. The film contains several references to Stanley Kubrick, as he is director Louis Schonbrand's favorite filmmaker. The Satellites in 2001: A Space Odyssey, the names of Cantlaw and Lolita, and the film is a mockbuster with incredible Hulk. Several characters in the film. Yeah, of course, everyone knows that. I don't think that needs to be said.
Yeah. Um, which book do you think it's most aligned with?
What do you mean?
Like, do you think it's just kind of riding off the coattails of the Ang Lee movie, or the more contemporary Mark Ruffalo one that, or not Mark Ruffalo, the Ed Norton one?
Oh, I don't really know.
I don't think it matters. This one,
Mm,
this movie is not that deep. There isn't uh, too much that doesn't seem obvious from what you're saying. It's very clear this is good. This is a green screen film. When you see the actors walking in place, running in place, which is
yeah.
always fun. So I think he knew what kind of movie this was, and then the only thing is, do you think the actors really knew to be this bad looking?
I don't think they did.
No, I mean, you had your Avatar or even your Star Wars sequels, but you didn't get much like this. You think that those were more exceptions than the rule. And I don't know. I've seen some of these Doctor Who that's better looking than this.
Mm-hmm. Very much so. Let's see. Yeah, to turn your light. That was good then.
And
Never.
then for
What? No, never mind. You go ahead.
and then just thinking of this movie, um, it's just very obvious that all so far it's all just all these really bad gifs that I am honestly astounded to hear that this spent more than a week in the editing bay,
Mm-hmm.
just because there's a shot in the ending that's just so baffling that I'd assume this is when the editor just said, at the end of the week, I am cutting my losses.
Absolutely. I could edit better.
But can you edit Zeus throwing a thunderbolt at the Amazing Hulk?
Yeah.
Guess you can do a better job.
Now, I think we'll be going through the episode right now. Okay, just let me do share screen so that the YouTube viewers at home can see. All right. Now we have the fake Universal logo. Yeah, the fake Universal, fake Fox,
Fake
fake
Paramount.
Paramount, and we have the incredibly fake uh, interiors and exteriors. Lou's
Like
Pizza.
a fake Gotham City.
Yeah, there's I think it's like Buddy Western is the name of the movie, and one of their jokes they keep going, "Oh, guys, we need to we need to ref a movie by Buddy Western," and just that shit always makes me laugh. Great, we end on this image.
It starts off with a sex worker going down an alley and then getting into a short conversation before getting brutally stabbed and murdered.
Mm-hmm.
And it's probably the most realistic looking set that this movie will ever see.
Yeah. So we see the Bulk smash this guy. Yeah, the wonderful bullet effect. And then Bulk runs off, and we get the opening which is uh, just a bunch of clip art being shown at us. Just
It's
on,
probably the most stylistically coherent thing
yeah.
as an intro with clip art in this movie. Because again, this is a movie where the Bulk will casually see a leprechaun, or Cantaloupe will see a chimp playing with a rocket ship.
Hmm. We have our sweaty heroes. These guys look. These guys look kind of creepy. Like, sorry to the actors, but they just do.
They look like you would not want to see them under the boardwalk anywhere uh, at that time. And at this
Hmm.
point, after the last scene, we see the main character drive off with his Betsy Ross, and the Rifftrax crew says that even the South Park animators would be disappointed with you
Hmm.
because it is that bad looking. It
Yeah.
looks more akin to Rhapsody Street Kids than it does South Park.
Yeah. That we have this weird running scene. I have expected them to attend a Great Gatsby themed party. I just thought, oh, that's and like she'd be in a plum dress, just the sort of things like that.
I think you'd be expecting way too much of that. Unless the plum dress was, CGI then.
We have the little rat there, and also the lab animal.
And the Rippers even say that they were so poor they couldn't even afford a real rat.
Yeah, and there's the bone just makes no sense. We have
Oh
the
yeah,
liquid
yeah.
metal ejaculation.
That's at General Ross's house. And
Eh,
then one thing I wanted to mention on the note of Marvel references was uh, for X-Men '97 fans, it was probably kind of cool to hear them make a riff on One Horn, One Eye Flying Purple People Eater,
mm,
especially with regards to the Bulk.
yeah, I love what they say here. Government scientists, ladies and gentlemen.
So he enters not Betsy's house.
Yeah, fakest got fakest goddamn house in the world. Of course, he doesn't want this punk sniffing around his daughter.
And certainly not stepping around his barely moving wine cellar.
Hmm. Enter Dr. Werner von Kantlev and Lolita. This guy, again, these people look weird. Like, sorry, but
Compare these two, Cantaloupe and Lolita, look a lot nicer than I'd be more happy to see them in an alleyway than I would Bulk and his times in front. And then we've got these two with their shields, the Who the Rippers does, Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, who admittedly look like they're in adult entertainment.
yeah, there are a lot of characters. There are a lot of actors in this movie that look like they would be in adult movies. We
We
see
can,
the bear in mind, and I remember what Nathaniel pointed, my brother Nathaniel pointed out, is that like him sending the rockets everywhere to destroy everything. Nathaniel said that is a scene in an X-Men movie, so maybe don't laugh. And we get this.
the great roller coaster scene as Betsy and the Bulk
He has such a downturned mouth, which God, that ugh. Then he is accosted.
On the subway, we were like getting some Joker vibes from that. I wouldn't be surprised if he shot the robber in the back.
Oh, absolutely.
And then, they go on a nice ride together in their very fake car. I'm pretty sure I've seen children's productions do better job of driving around town.
Mm-hmm. We have this guy. He just is a charisma vacuum.
There is no charisma really in this movie. I'd say the closest is cat love, but I think that's maybe more having to do with the material he's given. Where, of course, he's this very out there character. He's a parody.
We have these two doofs who, again, people in this movie look weird. I'm sorry.
And speaking of cat love, we just see these people who I believe are trying to buy countless weapons.
Mm-hmm. And they're mugging a lot. Notice that our hero looks like, yeah, like I said, an adult film performer.
Yeah, there's a riff right here where the Bulk returns to the scene of the crime, and the Rippers let out one of the most scathing riffs of this one, where it's like just like Matthew Broderick anytime he films in Ireland,
Oh,
which I was not expecting that.
Jesus.
That was such a scathing. Usually they're not so mean spirited. It was both a delight and a shock to hear that one.
They've gone after him a few times. Now, I'd like to. This is the. I think we can show it on YouTube, like just the quick clip, but it's. Yeah, this is the scene of the guy becoming the. Yeah, there we go.
Mm-hmm.
There we go.
We see our detective emerge as a body comes with the bull. The only time we actually see the bull as a human. And this is the second appearance of the bull within the narrative. We do have a flashback that's clearly just reused footage,
Mm.
but this is one of his first or the second outing after stopping the man who killed the sex worker.
And this guy is very upset that his partner died.
Not that you can really tell just because of how phony and clip art everything looks.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, they put the Hulk in prison, and the Hulk is then taken away by a military escort who wants to use everything he's done as a weapon. Which the Rippers point out the obviousness of, oh no, the military is using my research as a weapon?
Yeah. There. We have these sex scene, these satellite sex scenes that they just remind me of ba 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 ba, the refueling and starfighters.
I'm also thinking, this seems like a joke that even Austin Powers movies might kind of turn their nose at that. And at one point we see like a dog bone satellite in space, and of course our Rippers, the Dallas
Yeah, it's priceless. We have the Siege on Cantla's,
Castle?
yeah.
Where? ENG? Oh,
Where,
and
yeah,
outside of the castle is a random leprechaun.
yes, this leprechaun fellow.
Yeah, just get used to it. There's so many random things that we haven't even begun to scratch the surface of, even though at this point there's only about like 15, 20 minutes left of the movie.
Yeah. We
So we
have,
still,
go ahead.
so we still haven't scratched the surface of all the clip art that this thing has.
Yeah.
They literally throw all the shit at the fan
Hmm.
at the very end.
We have Rover, which wasn't a boulder, but a robotic balloon. So
And perhaps the most awkward scene involving a character called Lolita is actually where she's blindfolded and doing some foreplay thing with Dr. Catlove, but instead it's the fault.
Hmm.
And at that point, she's just kind of feeling around and almost certainly grabs his penis.
Hmm.
Which, for those who haven't seen it, how would you describe how the bolt looks like?
It's fleshy. That
Fleshy?
fleshy and massive, and like that just sounds bad. Like,
He looks like a PS1 rendering of Grape 8
yeah.
from a very underfunded studio.
We have
Okay, so after
okay,
he
let's look
stops
at some of these
Catlove,
freaks.
yeah, let's just to catch everyone up to speed. He stops Catlove, and the military is ready to turn on the amazing bolt now that he's outlived his usefulness.
And
And the first person they send to stop him,
the G-men include Robin Hood, Flamingos, Sherman Tank,
Plane,
Goose and Iceman,
Red
Baron von
Baron,
Richthofen,
a lady
Megan
soccer player who's just kind of doing her own thing,
Megan Rapinoe,
and a guy who looks like Caillou outstretched, also playing soccer.
Captain Lou Albano, Rango, Crypto,
Oh, hi, doggy. Or you have Spiderfoot.
let's see,
Steve Hillenburg?
Rob Riggle, Adolf Hitler,
I was gonna go with swarthy Luigi.
Alan Oppenheimer, and yeah, that eventually when that ragtag group that we just mentioned joins forces, that's enough to defeat the Hulk, or defeat the
There
Bulk.
was also Zeus. Zeus did charge his thunderbolt ready to hurl it.
Yes. It's very much, you think of the line from the Snyder Cut, it hasn't faced us, not all of us. Yeah.
The armies of man and clip art assembled to defeat this great evil.
Then we have Mr. Jabberwock face up here. With dumbass tribal tattoos, which they make fun of.
For the record, that's not a GIF for anyone wondering. But yeah, they make fun of his tribal tattoos and, are afraid that they might offend his tribe, which I can only assume are idiots.
Mm-hmm.
So, the Bulk returns to Not Betsy's house, kills the General Ross character, and seems to die with him as a lonely, stoogy, tribal tattoo guy.
Mm-hmm.
Betsy mourns him, but someone's not having any of that.
Yeah. Michael Chiklis pees on him. But
He
nah.
goes cold-handed. Yeah.
And
Can we
there
just say
and there you
Can we
have
just
it.
say that it's great that a AAA game emulated the Amazing Bulk with Captain Boomerang trying to do that to Flash?
Mm-hmm.
Just saying, it's great that the video games are now catching up with some of the finest of cinema.
Oh my word. What a repulsive movie.
And overall, what did you think of the riff when watching the movie?
I liked it. I thought it was good enough. I think the movie is it's like it's so idiotic that it's idiot proof, if that makes sense. Where it's like, well, what can you add to this fucking mess?
There's also, I think even though that's the case, I think it's also a very easily rippable movie. In that
Yeah.
I don't think you could make a joke that's off the mark that wouldn't land in some way because it is
Mm-hmm.
just that stupid of a movie. Like you're not going to get um, some great observation that only Mike, Kevin, and Bill can make, or even only the Mads can make. You're not going to get that, but whatever you do get is going to be funny, because this is a very funny, stupid movie, and not for any of the reasons that it's trying to be funny.
Yeah. No, it's just so silly, so stupid that you can at least get something out of it. Like there's no matter who you are, there'll be something that you enjoy about either the movie or the riff or both. So I think that's a strength.
And this is even one of those movies where, I think a lot of people nowadays are kind of critical of the whole, well, that just happened kind of humor.
Yeah.
But this movie actually works for that because it it does have this, well, that just happened kind of vibe to it, but not in a way that ever feels like, they're trying to poke at you intentionally. It just feels like this is an unintentional and constant mess that any humor is just completely down to the viewer or the ripper. So I like that. It is one of those instances. Well, that just happened can work because they clearly, the rippers and audiences are probably putting more thought into this than anyone in that year of editing.
Hmm. The oh, I think it's amazing that it's just it was a solid episode, and I think of the fact that MST is one of the pillars of the well that just happened type humor. You know what I mean?
Like, I'm sure glad I don't look stupid in this.
Hmm. It's they you get points for being in on the ground floor, really. You know.
Mm-hmm. That's definitely in there. Overall, I thought this was a solid episode. It's a short one. It's like about an hour, if
Hmm.
that.
Hmm.
But there's more than enough stupidity for everyone.
Yeah. And quite frankly, I I thought this one was pretty bad, and I was still reeling from Rim Lazar. That one is rough. It just the fact that they're singing superheroes just sounds like a guy like, "Hi, my name's Rim Lazar. I like biscuits and waffles." So yeah, God help Rim Lazar. But yeah, this is a good episode. I really liked it.
Yeah, it's not I think it's a good entry point for people who are maybe new to Rifftrax or new to riffing because it just feels it's one of those movies that are just so easy to make fun of. You instantly get what they're on about, what they're making fun of. That makes it so accessible, and you don't feel like an intrusion, more so as a breath of fresh air for anyone who's not into mystery science, not into Rifftrax. And so even though this one is, probably is one of their most recent releases, it's still pretty accessible to anyone. And I hope this one's one that gets people into Rifftrax if they're not into it already. I doubt they'd be listening to a podcast dedicated to Rifftrax, but this is a very easy one to get into.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I think that's about it for today's episode. This is Plotting Rifftrax, and we have been just hanging out
Hanging out with
poorly
Rifftrax.
rendering backgrounds, just hanging out, wearing stupid Hulk hands. What?
Hanging out with Tor Johnson?
Hanging out with Tor Johnson, making fork go too fast.